Alright guys, welcome to the part 2 of the CSS spacing videos. So this is the part where we start demonstrating all the things that we've learned theoretically and put it into practice. So here I have, in my code editor, I have an HTML file and a CSS file. In my HTML file, I have in the body, a header, a main, and a footer. So I'll be using this to demonstrate how we can use CSS margin, padding, and then using the CSS unit, and then see some few tricks on which units, on what you need to use towards getting a responsive layout design. So let's dive in. So I'm going to pick my header now. I'm going to pick my header and I want to give it a width of let's say 800 pixel, and then I want to give it a background so that you will see it as when I'm applying the other stuffs. Let's say I give it a background of blue. So if I come, I'm using a live server, so I'll go live to view it in my browser. So yeah, our text is not really showing. Let me change it. So I'll come back and then I give my text there a color of white, which is FFF. So I'll select this. So if I go back to check, okay, so it's now visible. So now I want to show us how margin works. So if I apply a margin, I can give it all the 4 values, and the way margin works is this. See, if I show you this, I can say 10 pixel, 20 pixel, 10 pixel, and then 20 pixel. This is the full way of declaring a margin property to an element. So what we are saying here is this, my header, give it a margin top of 10 pixel, a margin right of 20 pixel, a margin bottom of 10 pixel, and a margin left of 20 pixel. So it goes like that. It is clockwise. Remember, top, right, bottom, left. So it goes like that. So if you come check it on my browser, yeah, you can see that it has given it a margin left of 10 pixel. Because we have so much space left by the right here, it's not really visible, we might not see it, and a margin bottom. But to now show you that when adding margin, it affects, I said our margin creates spacing for us around. So now I'm going to show you how to declare margin individually on the sides, be it top, bottom, left, right, and all like that. So if I'll come here and clean and just backspace this, and I say margin top. If I say margin top, I just want to give my the margin to the top of my element. Let me use a number that will be very visible, but first let me show you what we have. You see it is glued at the top there. So by the time I say margin top of 70 pixel and come back to look at my browser, you see that it has given it a space between my body and the header of margin top of 70 pixel. So that is how margin top works. I can come and change it and say, okay, give it a margin left of the same 70 pixel. If I go back to my browser and check, you see the margin top is not longer there again. It is now a margin left. It's adding from the left hand side, it pushes it to the right. by giving it a pixel of 70 pixel, and then I can come and say margin right of the same 70 pixel. You see that the margin left is not there again because I'm giving it a margin right, but because we have so much space here, we can't really see the effect of the margin right. But if we have another element beside it, you clearly see it that it has pushed it. Then I can say margin bottom of 70 pixel. You see that it has created a space between my header and my main. You can see there's a space here under it between this and this. So that is how we can individually give a margin to the element around. So, but we have what we call the shorthand method of giving a margin in CSS. I can come and do this. I'll delete that. So what I'm saying is give my header a margin of 70 pixel on the top, on the right, on the bottom, and on by the left. So that is what we're saying here. You can see it. It has given it a margin top of 70 pixel, a margin right of 70 pixel, a margin bottom of 70 pixel, and a margin left of 70 pixel. That is a shorthand. Another way we can declare a margin, we can give it two values. And I come here, I say margin 70 pixel, and I come and say, okay, let's give it 100 pixel. So this is another shorthand method. You come and you see it. So what we are saying is give my margin, the first value, since we have only two values here, the first value stands for the top and the bottom margin top and bottom of 70 pixel, and then the second value stands for the margin left and the margin right of 100 pixel. To show you that this is working, I'm going to increase this by, let's say 150 pixel. So if I come back to my browser, you see that it has really given it a margin of 150 at the top and 150 at the bottom, while maintaining the 100 by the left and the 100 by the right. So that is how margin works. Another way we can do this is I can come and give it, I can decide to use just three values. If I'm just using three values and I come here and say that okay, give it a of 80 pixel, and I come and check my browser. So what I have done is give it a margin top of 150 pixel. Then the second value stands for the left and the right margin. Left margin of 80 pixel, right margin of 80 pixel, and then 100 pixel for the bottom. Remember, this first value is for the top, the second value is for the right margin and the left margin, and the last value, which is the third one, is for the bottom margin bottom. So that is how it works. So that's that about margin. So now if we move to the padding part, I come here and say, okay, I'm picking my main and giving it padding property. I say, okay, main, using the general selector. I come, let me also give it a width so that we can see what we are demonstrating. And I give it a width of, let me say, okay, the same thing. Let's say 800 pixel. Remember, I said when adding, to see the effects of giving of using padding, you really see that when you are using a background. So let's say I give it a background, we give it a background of green. Let's check our browser. Okay, that's it. And then to make the text more visible, I also give it a color of white. So we have given our main a color of white. So if we check our browser now, yeah, is now white. So using the margin property, I'll also start with the padding property. So, excuse me. I will also start with the general way of giving a padding. I can say 20 pixel, then 20 pixel margin top of 20 pixel, margin right of 40 pixel, margin bottom, sorry, I keep interchanging, padding, sorry. So padding bottom of 20 pixel, and then padding left of 40 pixel. Then I terminate it. So you see what I'm saying? When we're adding margin on our header, which is the one with the blue background, it was adding the space around it, that is outside the element. But now we are using padding. We see that we are adding space inside our element. In this case, we are using the main element as the general selector. So it's adding that space inside. So what we have said here, same applies from what we did with our margin. Same applies here. We are saying that give our main a padding top of 20 pixel, a padding right of 40 pixel, a padding bottom of 20 pixel, and a padding left of 40 pixel. So, and voila, we have this. So if I come back and I just want to give it just one, I remember when you are just giving it one value, you are saying that it should be all. That value should be what it's used for all, both the top, the right, the bottom, and the left. So when I come back, see I've given it a margin, a padding of 50 pixel on all sides inside the element. So that's padding. And also, so I want to show us something. If I comment out my code now for this, okay, sorry, I want to comment out the background. So, and let me also comment the color of the text out. It's clashing. So I've given it a padding here already. So one might think that, oh, it's adding the space around the elements. No, it is not hard, just because we don't have our padding there does not mean that the space is not being added inside. You can see that it's still giving it a padding left of 50 pixel, a padding right of 50 pixel, a padding top of 50 pixel, and a padding bottom of 50 pixel. So this is how padding margin works. So that is why I said that it will be easier to know when you are adding padding if you have a background, be it an image or a color. In this context that we're using color now, it will be easier for you to know. So when developing and you're confused, you want to know, am I adding padding or margin? Just for padding, give it a background and see, and then add it, and then you will see it. So I'll go back to uncomment the code. So I just want to say, okay, 100 pixel of top and bottom padding, and then 50 pixel of left and the right padding. So you see the huge space it's adding inside our main element. And then we can also do the 3 method, and I just come and say 75 75 pixel. So top padding of 75 pixel, left and right of 75, and then bottom of 50. So you can see it that the top padding is higher than the bottom, while the left and the right, they are equal. So I wouldn't want to make this video a very long one so that it will be easy to understand. There will be a part 3 on this because I really want us to understand how CSS margin padding works. So now one last thing, let's look at borders. We are going to use our footer to give a border. So if I come to the bottom of this and I say, okay, our footer, I will give it a border. Our first value is the size of the thickness that we want for the border. So we can say 2 pixel, and then maybe you want dots or dashes and all like that, or just solid, and we say solid, and the color that we want to see for the border, we say red. By the time I'm come and check, you see that it has, you see these lines here, the red. So it has given our footer of 2 pixel solid red. I can come and change it and say dotted. You see, it's giving it a dotted line of borders around our footer. Sometimes we just want only one side, so we can decide to come and say border left. You see that dotted line? Let me change it to solid so that you, so it's only giving it. So sometimes borders come in handy when you want to do some designs. I can come and change it and I say bottom. You see, it's just only adding it to the bottom. I can say right. You see, it's adding it beside here because it's a block level element. So that's why it's adding it by the right here. So that's all for margin, padding, and borders. So and you can see that the units that we have been using most, I have not touched on other units that we have been using most, is the pixel. That is what we have been using most. So in the part 3 of this video, I'll lay out, we'll make this look more okay and all like that, and then using other CSS units. So that's all for this lesson on margin, padding, and borders. See you in the next video.